Hey everyone, just wanted to give you a quick update. We just did a full paint correction on this Chevy Nova 69, really beautiful car, yesterday, and now we're going to be coating it with the Adams Polish's advanced graphene coatings. This is their advanced formula. It has a 10H hardness, and love working with this stuff, and creates great results and shine, let alone it's already how shiny it is from the paint correction. So I just want to go through what comes in the kit, and then we'll also do this panel a little bit later and show you how to use the items that are in the kit. But first and foremost, it comes with two Adams Polishes plush towels. These are good for buffing off the coating. They're also good for buffing polishes and residues off like that if you soak them in rinseless wash. And that's going to help you really keep those swirls down because they're so soft. So we'll use those in a bit too. We'll show you how do we buff those off. The first chemical it comes with is surface prep. So the surface prep is what you wipe down the panels with before you lay down the ceramic coating. This is a very important step. Gets rid of any polish residue that you missed from buffing it off, any oils. Like I said, I just touched this with my hands. Anything that you have, this is going to take care of that before you lay down that coating. So it's going to make sure your coating adheres properly. It also comes with two of these microfiber suede towels. Not microfiber, so suede. And suede is nice because microfiber doesn't absorb into suede as much as it would a big microfiber plush towel. And Adams may have a different view than I do on these. And this is kind of your first step of buffing a coating off. I look at these as leveling. So once you lay the coating down, of course we want to level as much as possible, but the coating is not going to absorb in these. So when these kits first came out a couple of years ago, they actually didn't include the plush towels and they only included these. Well, what people were doing, were pushing that coating around because it wasn't absorbing on this suede towel, and you'd be done and you'd come out the next day and you'd have a bunch of high spots, which we do not want. So what I do this as, and I'll show you here down the road in this video, is this just levels it out. You're not trying to buff it off. You're not trying to get really in there and get that coating removed. You're kind of just spreading it around, making sure all those oils in the coating are level and it's getting where it needs to go. So this is my favorite step. I feel like this is some coatings don't have this, and this really makes sure your product is ready to go and next level as far as level, clean, and no high spots. Then we will buff it off with the towels. Once we do that suede towel for the final step, making sure we absorbed all those excess oils. Of course, we do have the coating itself. Always leaves, which I already shook it, it leaves black residue from the graphene in here. So we do want to shake it a couple minutes before we start, which I'm already always shake everything that's graphene, so I'm already used to doing that. Then it comes with graphene boost. So this is something you can do down the road. So Adam, I think, recommends every 4 washes or so. You can use this as a drying aid, which is my favorite thing to do. So once you wash the car, soap it, sponge, then you rinse it and it's dripping wet with water. Use this as a drying aid with your drying towel and revitalizes the coating tremendously. You'll be shocked. But biggest thing on a coating, which we'll go over here as well, don't wash it for a week or 2 weeks. We want to make sure it bonds tremendously to the car. We do not want soaps or anything trying to get grime to ruin that coating. So biggest thing here, don't wash it for 1 to 2 weeks. And again, once we do this coating, this car's got to stay here for 12 to 24 hours. Make sure it cures before it gets the outside elements. The owner picks it up, it looks great, and it's not any bad weather, but he goes through sprinklers that were on down the road, and the whole side of the car now might have those spots where the coating bonded to the water versus the actual car. So we don't want that. So we want to make sure it cures here, make sure our quality stays proper. Thank you. Okay, we're back and we're ready to coat this panel. So first thing we'll use is the surface prep and the kind of a thin microfiber towel. Does not come in the kit, but typically any towel that you have interior that would work, that's soft. Then you lightly mist the surface. This bottle actually has a pretty good mister on it. And all you're going to do is wipe that alcohol in. This is mostly isopropyl alcohol. I think Adam says there's some proprietary stuff in here, but that's really all it is. All right, once that's done, one thing I forgot to include in the kit is the kit comes with two of these suede applicator pads. So again, suede, as we talked about on the towel, the suede doesn't absorb liquids as much as microfiber does. So it's a very good applicator to put the coating in. So first things we're going to do here is I typically like to do a 4x4 section. I think the instructions say 3 or 4 foot by 4 foot section. So it doesn't really matter as long as you know what to work with. A few takeaways to not make ceramic coating scary. When it's curing, I think it says, wait 1 or 2 minutes and then wipe it off. If you waited 3 or 4 minutes, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to be the end of the world. Now, if it waits till the next day, we pull it out in the sun and there's a high spot that we missed to wipe off, yeah, we're going to have to get the white polishing pad out and lower that high spot. Then a week or so on from that, it's going to be kind of a heavier compound cut to get that ceramic coating off. But as of right now, biggest worry that people have on first ceramic coating that makes it scary is it's tough. It's hard to get off. There's high spots. What do I do? Realistically, anything that we're doing right now, even if we waited 5 minutes, not going to be the end of the world. So here we go. So I'll try to get as close as the camera as I can here. But what we want to do here is just do driplets like that. That might be actually a little bit too much, but we just want it to drop on the applicator. And I typically like to do like an S here. So that way it has fair coating and I'm getting a fresh new line every single time. And you want to do a half overlap every time. And then you want to go back the same way. It's really called cross hatching. Some people do the, swirl method just fine. Since this square applicator is square, I kind of like to do that square method. While we let that dry, I'm actually going to do the remainder of the stripe down, the same process. And I would say one thing, when I was training, watching videos years ago, there was not much help on how long do you let it cure for. Different environments mean different things. So if there's high humidity, it's going to cure really fast. And sometimes, probably even in the video, which I can't even see here, there's a rainbow hint to this once it starts curing, and then that rainbow starts fading. Sometimes you can't see that. I've done a ton of white cars and you can't see that at all. So you actually have to go a different method, see how a towel sticks, which we'll go in a second. So what we'll actually do, which I don't think other videos do out there, is we'll wait in real time. So as you're watching this video, we're not fast forwarding, we're not cutting, and we will watch. We're here in Colorado. It was 85, 90 degrees today. We don't have humidity, so we're not going to have that high of humidity here to make it go fast, but I kind of want to share with you something to feel more comfortable about. Don't feel like you have to wipe off the coating right away. So again, this is the suede towel that it comes with. It comes with two, so you can do kind of half the car. What we want to do always is do the corner folds here and make it into a flat surface and something that you have, oops, something that you have 8 different surfaces on. So once this, if you kind of rub up against the trim and you get a little bit of dirt on there or a little bit of black plastic residue, you actually just flip it and you can even have 8 clean pads. I also do the same thing on my microfibers that we buff off. I always do a quarter fold. So we have a lot of clean sides to work with. So what we're going to do here is as we're waiting for this to dry, you kind of want to throw it on there. Still a little, wants to kind of slide around a little bit. So we're going to wait just a bit more. And this is a foolproof method where it's just trying to wait and visualize if it's fully cured. If it kind of gets tacky and wants to hold on to that towel, which sometimes I'll be wiping and it actually takes the towel from my hand, that's when you know it's really, really getting there. So we'll wait a little bit longer and see what we can do here. Okay, see that? So how that kind of took, now we know that this is actually being pretty darn tacky, and we can ready to start wiping. Now again, just how I said before, this is not me buffing it off. You know, I think some people look at waxing and ceramic coating as you'd be in here trying to buff off all that residue. Again, this for me is I know it's not picking all the ceramic coating up. I know there's going to be residual oils. I'm just trying to almost kind of cross hatch it again, just trying to level it out again and make sure that all those spots get uh, pushed around and leveled out. That's really all I'm doing. Okay. Now, I don't know if we can see it in the camera at all. I actually have some oils that did not get picked up. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Um, So that actually is the reason why you do this. So we leveled it out, we pushed it all around and made sure that anywhere it could absorb the coating, it's absorbed the coating as much as it can. Now again, I'm just pushing around and absorbing all those excess oils. I am just putting the weight of my hand on here, pretty much just making it flow. But I'm using my whole hand so that it doesn't unfold on me there. But very light pressure. I am not trying to get in there and really polish it out or buff it out. It's just the oil sitting on top. The coating's already cured and it's on there what's on the clear coat. So you're just drying up any of that residual stuff. Okay, and as we do that here, you'll see that that coating is now gone. There's nothing there. We pulled that all together and we let it settle in and wiped it off. So biggest thing takeaway is really don't feel rushed on a ceramic coating. We will do here one more just to make sure we got the method. Feel free to comment if you have any questions. I will try to answer them as best as I can. Here we go. We'll do the other side. And kind of knowing, never, don't feel like you have to do the whole car, but always be your best judgment of being like, hey, can I do this whole trunk in my environment without it curing and then go in with the towels? That's up to you. If you're a beginner, always do less is more. So I'm just going to do half this stripe here, and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to check its tackiness and see how it feels, because you don't want to wait too long that you feel like you waited too long and it gets a little too hard and you're really using elbow grease to buff it off, because that's not the point of buffing off a flashed or cured coating. And ceramic coating, again, you can't barely tell that it's there, so it's okay to overlap. So I already did this side, but I'm just going to make sure we did the center line. I'm going to redo that center line. And same thing, if we forget to wipe off this corner, we're looking at the car this evening and making sure we got every spot. When we see that spot, all you got to do is wet your applicator a little bit, touch that spot up again, and it actually will buff off. And we kind of reactivate the coating and allow you to buff it off without having to get the polish. You really don't have to polish until tomorrow morning. And if you see a high spot, which we will do, we always pull every car out in the sun to make sure, hey, did we miss anything? Different lighting in the sun. Once the sun hits it, it always looks a little bit different. And I, by no means, am perfect. My wife usually finds a spot or two that I miss. So as you see, I'm pretty confident in the timing that we had. So I'm even going to go over here and do this last bit of the trunk. But again, this is more, I would say, I don't want to say it's advanced, but I kind of know my timeline and limitations to the coating. I know the curing process. I know how long it takes to flash in this environment. We've kind of tested that spot, which I do every car, make sure that it's reacting to the clear coat differently. That's no problem. Again, we're just making sure we're getting it properly. Okay, now if you time it right, you should be able to start buffing off pretty quickly. But again, it's our leveling step. I'm gonna start with a new fresh side. That was our dirty side. You can see kind of gets a little bit of dirt there. We flip it over to a clean side here. And again, it's already sticking, already kind of moved me on me. So we know that's pretty tacky. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna level that stuff out again. And again, I know there's going to be some residual stuff. You may not see that on the bend here on the camera. There's high spots right now. I'm really just moving it around. So kind of everywhere I stop and turn, there's going to be some high oil spot residue there. But that's not the point of this towel. This is still kind of wet coating, and we're just wiping it in. And just trying to level it, not buff off. Again, not much pressure either. Another tip that I've had, all the tips that I have is mistakes that I've made in the past. So, but always when you're buffing and kind of getting all that oil off, go above the panel that you were doing, because chances are your applicator hit this edge or your suede towel was bringing up the oils and you brought up on the edge. So if you don't do this, learn from experience, you will have high spots in the morning of that coating getting pushed around and kind of hitting the panels that you didn't foresee. So, and I'm probably an over wiper on this sense, on this last step, but I've just in years and years had different high spots. So there's the light pressure that I'm doing with such a soft suede towel. We're not doing anything to the paint, so we're just nicely gliding across that coating now. We want to make sure we got everything. Awesome. Well, there you have it. You should be able to now coat your entire car with Adams polishes. And again, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I know I'm late to the game on 2024 on YouTube. But if you have any questions, please make comments and we can make another video for you. Thank you.